All right, y'all, welcome back. We are back with, this is going to be part 2 of our video, and I promise this is the last of the boring part. But just some crucial information, crucial things you need to know so that your epoxy project goes like you're hoping it will. And what we didn't have time to tell you in the first video is the wood here. Go ahead and show them, Tom. Get them up close. So our wood, any wood for that matter, breathes, okay? Little tiny pinholes in the wood at the ends all the way around, including the top and bottom. It breathes, okay? It's gassing out. So kiln dry or not, the wood still breathes. So in other words, when we get ready to pour this epoxy in here, everything's going to look good and go good. And as we're progressing, as it's trying to cure and things of that nature, it's going to start gassing. It's going to start pushing on that resin wall with air, gassing out, which is going to in turn create bubbles in our surface and what you see. And there's a way around that. We actually use resin. So you can use casted resin or tabletop resin, 2 different resins. And I don't want to confuse you, and I don't want you to think that you need to buy casting resin to do this, and then you have to buy tabletop resin to do this as well. We would actually use a tabletop resin because we're sitting on both. So in your case, a casted resin is what the project is going to be, so you can use the casted resin. The difference, casted resin, what you're looking for, is we would take a paintbrush, we would mix up our casting resin just a little bit, take the paintbrush. We actually did this in our video of the big top we just did in that custom bathroom. And we would actually take that, dip it in our resin, and we would paintbrush the inside here, the ends, everything around the perimeter, not worrying about the bottom or the top, just around the perimeter. With applying that little thin seal coat, we are trapping that from breathing is what we are accomplishing. The difference in tabletop versus casted resin, if we applied that coating around the wood, it is going to work. It's just going to take a lot longer to actually get to the tacky stage where you can put your finger on there, pull it away, and you feel it grabbing it because it's tacky. Once it's at the tacky stage, that's what you're actually looking for. If it completely hardens because you missed your window, it's no big deal. Let it go ahead, let that thin layer harden, and just sand it, scuff it up if you will, and it's going to take the epoxy just fine. So we are actually going to do this project without sealing this wood. We're going to let these bubbles come on and happen because we're going to show you what to do with them if you accidentally did that. But what you really want to apply a thin seal coat here all the way around the perimeter to both of your pieces of wood just to keep down the bubbles so you're not having to fight them. We're going to do that for you though. We're going to do it this way and show you the difference so that if this does happen to you, you'll know how to fix it. The other thing I want to tell you and talk to you about is the resin we're going to use. Because Lord knows there is there's a ton of paints out here, different paints, different manufacturers, works the same way with resin. So the resin we're going to use is super clear liquid glass. Now, casting resin is a 2-to-1 ratio, okay? And what I have here is part A, part B. So the actual resin itself, which is the part A, the part B is the curing agent. Okay, so 2-to-1 ratio. A is actually the 2, and part B here is actually the 1. So for instance, we have a container that looks just like here, okay, from Ace. It's a 5-quart. Because it's a 2-to-1 ratio, we're gonna look at the side where it has the liters, okay? So part A is your resin, okay, and that's 2 parts, so we're gonna come up to 2 liters. Part B is your curing agent. So that's going to be 1 more liter, a total of 3 liters, 2-to-1 ratio. And what I want to tell you about the resin we use, again, there's a gazillion different resins, but Super Clear Liquid Glass, along with plenty of others, have 100% right off their site VOC free. Okay, so the VOCs, the volatile organic compound is what that stands for. So VOC for short. In other words, the toxins in the air. When you pour a chemical into a container, what kind of toxins is it putting off that could be harmful to you? So ours with the Super Clear and actually our tabletop resin itself, 100%. So it is safe. That's why a lot of people, a lot of videos that you watch, some people you see don't have any mask, respirator, anything like that on. Other people you see do have it on. So I'm going to leave that up to you. It's really based on your resin. If you feel better about it, mask up. It's no big deal. But I just wanted to tell you the effects of it and why you see us do all this resin work, and we very seldom have a mask on. There are things we actually put into this, isopropyls and things like that, where we do put masks on. So we'll get into all that later when we actually go to use that. But right now, just for the resin, we're completely fine. We just wanted to give you those 2 tips so that that helps you out. And again, we're going to do our project without putting a seal coat on the wood because we want to show you what happens when you don't, so that you know how to fix it. So last but not least, getting back to the seal coat over here of the wood, if you use the casted resin, just know it takes about 8 to 10 hours for that to get to that tacky stage so that you can pour your deep pour down in there and it's going to lock on and grab it. With a tabletop resin, that's why we like to use a tabletop resin, it only takes about an hour or so to get tacky. So that's the difference. If you use the casted, it's going to take a lot longer, probably even the next day before you can actually pour that resin in there and get going. Tabletop, you can actually pour the casted resin in within an hour or 2, you're ready to go same day. So we hope all this information so far helps you at home. Don't miss part 3. We're going to get into mixing, the importance of mixing, how crucial mixing is to make this project go exactly how you're hoping.